Hello, this time we are at a 40k doubles tournament. This is a tournament being held both by Atlas Tabletop Gaming alongside the GTGC, which is the Gloucester Tabletop Gaming community. It's being held down at the local hall where they hold their gaming nights on a Tuesday in Gloucester in Tuffley. There are 14 tables, so that's 28 teams, so that's 56 players here today. So let's have a little look at my list and how the day went. Each team's list in this tournament comprises of two 1,000 point armies, making a total of 2,000 points per team and 3 games throughout the day. This is not ran as a GT but more of a relaxed tournament, so you kind of expect to see lists here that lean more into the fun and the themey rather than what you would expect to see at a grand tournament, say. I really like that, as it means you end up playing against some weird and wonderful mashups. For myself and Dean, my half of our list was basically whatever I managed to paint this week, and so comprised of a Space Marine Gladius task force with a captain in Terminator armor leading a squad of Terminators, a unit of 5 Assault Intercessors, 3 Outriders, and with a Cerastus Knight Lancer allied in because it's such a cool model in its new plastic kit, and I just finished painting it after picking it up on release day, and I really wanted to use it. So it went in. Hopefully though, new painted model syndrome does not strike, as I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can skewer with its lance. Dean brought Imperial Knights comprising of a Knight Castellan and a Knight Gallant, bringing along both firepower and close combat to the table. Game 1 of the day was against Chaz and Jamie of Team Turtleneck and their armies of Space Dwarves and Tyranids. These two would go on to win Best Sportsman of the Day, and fully well deserved. Jamie's Space Dwarves consisted of 2 land fortresses, 2 units of bikes, and a unit of heavy soldiers that I really should have made a note of at the start and asked for the stats about, but we'll find out about why later. Chaz brought an array of large space bugs, doing a large variety of space bug things, some with large teeth and some with large guns. The deployment was search and destroy, mission rule chilling rain, and primary objective take and hold. Both teams took tactical missions, meaning random secondaries. So into the game, thanks to the speed of my Marines and the firepower of that Knight Castellan, we managed to get a decent amount of ball control early game. At the start of the game, I placed my Terminators teleport Homer onto the centre objective and managed to come down onto it in turn 2 and hold that for most of the game as well, allowing us to get more board presence. The backfield objective was held with the Castellan once it had moved back onto it after thinning out the herd of bugs. Really tight game. By the end of turn 3 there was only 4 points in it, with each side countering the other. My bikes would score some points, then get eaten by old One Eye and his mates, who then got blown to tiny bits by the Castellan. However, those heavy dwarves, well, they one-shotted my nice new shiny Lancer in turn 2, meaning all it was able to achieve this game was capturing an objective in the field and then die, which then meant my Assault Intercessors had to make a late board dash to claim that same objective. This was a really tight game. In between the first, second and third turns there were only a couple of points in it. It wasn't until into turn 4 where we managed to get rid of some of their threats, such as the 2 land fortresses and a couple of the big bugs, that we managed to start making headway and gaining ground and scoring some decent points. But in the end, the firepower of the Castellan and the board control sealed the deal, with the final score being 83 to us, 54 to Team Turtleneck. Brilliant game. Now let's have a look at Game 2. So, Game 2 against JD and Niall. Aptly called Team Chop and Change, with their combined armies of Thousand Suns and Chaos Demons. Chop consisted of 2 Bloodthirsters, a Belcor and a Scribe. Change consisted of Magnus, Rubik Terminators, and Rubik Marines. The deployment is sweeping engagement, mission rule scramble fields, and primary objective, the Ritual. Both teams again taking tactical missions, meaning random secondaries. This is a game where I didn't want to go first, but unfortunately we won the roll-off and we had to. So despite getting some early board control, it turns out Magnus can't actually do anything wrong, and the sheer mortal wounds output crippled my Lancer, again, and the Bloodthirsters ripped apart the Castellan like it was made of paper. By turn 2, the Lancer was once again watching from the sidelines, and it was then a tale of steadily losing ground and units, with my captain holding on to make a Damn it. And it was then a tale. By turn 2, the Lancer was once again watching from the sidelines, and it was then a tale of steadily losing ground and units, with my captain holding on to make a final last stand and eventually dying like the rest of the army, with the final score 25 to us, 98 chop and change. They would then go on to win the whole tournament and bragging rights at the end of the day. Game 3, Paul and James and their team of Mean Green Counter 15 Killing Machine. Their armies of Orcs and Gene Stealer cults. Their armies consisted of 2 Weird Boys, a Knob on a Smasher Squig, Commandos, Squig Riders, Gretchen and Storm Boys. Also Gene Stealers had an Abominant, a Biophagus, Acolytes and Aberrants, who I had no idea was so tough to kill. The deployment is Dawn of War, mission rule chosen battlefield, and primary mission priority targets. In deployment, the Commandos forward deployed, going for a high risk, high reward and hoping to get the first turn charge off. We deployed on the line with fast units on the flanks in hope to get some early board control and weather that Orc storm. Well, the risk paid off for the Orcs and Gene Stealer cults, as they got first turn, and with some nice rolls they got in with the Orcs charging the Castellan and the Gene Stealer cults charged into the Knight Gallant. We managed to counter for the turn and score decent on the board, but were faced with the problem that we were now hemmed in our deployment zone, and with a Knight Gallant who would spend that entire game tied up in the deployment zone, first of all by the Gene Stealer cults, then later in game by the Orcs, and the Lancer on the far side made fungus dust with some Commandos, and then got tied up and destroyed by those Aberrants. Told you those things are really tough. This combined with a poor draw of cards for us early game, which all required us to have board control and be out and about and doing stuff, unfortunately began the end. However, a highlight being a Weird Boy attempting to cast a spell, failed, took mortals and died, leaving an opening in the backfield for my Terminators to come down, utterly squash some Gretchen and capture their home objective for us. But alas, it was not enough to turn the tide, with the game finishing 63 to us, 83 to the Mean Green Counter 15 Killing Machine. So there we have it. After 3 games of 40k, started off really strong and then went downhill from there. But they were all 3 really good games, and I really enjoyed myself here at the tournament. So we'll be looking forward to the next one, which I think is near December time, so we will see. So if you've enjoyed this video, you like this kind of content, check out my other videos, and also please don't forget to like and subscribe, and keep watching the channel for much more to come. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.